Right. So a number of years ago, before we became church planters, Elsie and I were itinerant ministers. We were traveling to this one country at this point in time, and we were having a great time of ministry. Uh, the response of the people was very, very good. We were praying for the sick, and we were seeing people get healed. The Spirit of God was showing up. People were being ministered to deeply, and so the ministry was going really, really well. However, at the same time, concurrent with that, there was a specific situation that was present in our circumstances that only escalated. It got worse and worse as time went on. And it got to the point where we decided we just have to figure out from the Lord, we have to hear from God what needs to be done in this very troubling situation. And so this one evening, we decided to just lay down and soak in God's presence and ask Him to speak to us. Lord, what should we do about this very challenging circumstance? And so we're lying there. I have my iPhone playing on the bedside stand. And as we're sitting there, lying there, soaking, this song by Ruth Fazal comes off the iPhone, and it's as though it came through the airwaves and landed on our chest and brought a tremendous measure of peace. She was actually singing a song, which was a psalm, Psalm 31. She was singing almost verbatim Psalm 131. And the words of that song really deeply ministered to us. But it was more than the words. It felt like the Spirit of God was taking those words, traveling with those words, and just landing on us and bringing us a tremendous measure of peace. So even today, I could go back to that memory and I could find a portal of peace, a portal of peace. Because I can remember that circumstance, I can remember that situation, and peace begins to come upon my heart again. And I love that because it's a powerful psalm, and I want to read that psalm to you right now. It's a very short psalm. It's a psalm of David. Psalm 131, my heart is not proud, Lord. My eyes are not haughty. I do not concern myself with great matters or things too wonderful for me. I have calmed and quieted myself. I am like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child, I am content. Israel, put your hope in the Lord, both now and forevermore. What a great psalm. And as she was singing that like a weaned child, like a child with his mother, that those words just lit on our hearts and brought such a peace to us. It was as though the Lord was saying, you just be at rest. I've got this. You be at rest. Now, this is a Psalm of David, and I want to make a couple of comments about that. First of all, he says, my heart is not proud, Lord. And here's the first point. David was a great king, and by naturally speaking, he could well have been proud because he had accomplished so much. I mean, other kings had become proud. They started off well, but they became proud. People like Hezekiah, people like Uzziah, and others. But David did not. He remained humble of heart. And a demonstration of that was that he chose to put himself, have an attitude of heart where he was like a child with his mother. So point number 2 is I have calmed and quieted myself. I have calmed and quieted myself. That's a choice he is making. You see, he was a great king, and I bet you every single day he had significant, weighty decisions to make about war, about building of different things, just significant national decisions that he had to make as part of being the king of this nation. But yet, even in the midst of having those weighty decisions and those significant responsibilities, his attitude of heart was, I am going to position myself as though I am a weaned child with its mother. It's beautiful. At first, when I read this, there was a bit of a cognitive dissonance because it seemed like an odd picture. If you want to really communicate the idea, David, why don't you say I'm like a suckling child with his mother. But he said, I'm a weaned child. And as I'm contemplating that, I felt the Lord saying that the imagery here is of a child who is weaned. He doesn't depend on his mother for milk, but he's choosing to be in that position because he wants that place of comfort, that place of rest. It's a choice he's making to be there. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And so we get to make that very same choice, don't we? As we live our lives, we get to have that same attitude of heart where in the midst of the calamities and the questions and the stresses and strains of life, whatever they may be, we can choose that place of rest. We can choose that place of being in peace like a weaned child with his mother. And I believe that is the invitation of God to every single human person, believer or non-believer. You are invited to that place of being in the bosom of the Father, being as a weaned child with its mother, experiencing the parental love, the fatherly love, the motherly love of God in your life. That's a place we're invited to live our lives from. And I commend it to you. It's a great place to live. It's a portal of peace. Be blessed. Have a great day.